AEW, AEW, AE. Did I just do like sort of the CEO dance almost when I did that? I felt like I did like almost like the CE. Yeah, I did. I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, her chance do kind of go with the AEW thing as well too. So hey, good marketing about her. That's why she's the. Anyway, I'm gonna just hold it down and stop. Anyway, AEW hit back once again with a really good episode. I was like entertained throughout the whole time. There wasn't no like dull sleeper matches or whatever. Like, you sort of get that sometimes in a 2-hour programming or whatever. But I was like, couldn't complain with nothing with AEW or whatever. I was like, I'll do this thing. I'm not going to go in no deep dive psychoanalysis thing. Not at least with these kind of thing. And I know it was kind of a little late for the AEW thing, but hey, time things, whatever. I still got around to sit watching it. And I feel like that should be also pretty cool with that. Anyway, I was like, I'm trying to figure out what part of it. I was like, look, Hurt Syndicate came out at the very beginning and really didn't say too much about anything. Sort of just went through the accolades of Shelton and Bobby. And then was like, if I give you my card, take it up as like an offering. If not, take it as a little sign of disrespect. Swerve came out and they're like, okay, full gear, you get Bobby Lashley. All right, cool. So something that we all sort of figured out. And then pretty much the only thing that we have left is him when after Ricochet had an interview and they surround Ricochet. Now, first I want to say this is bullshit. We need more Hurt Syndicate. Like they just came together last week. Give them a long time to talk and actually do something here. I'm not saying that there needed to be a match, but to me that was like they could have did something more, be able to talk more or something like that. Especially because I'm like that. At some point they're gonna run up against John Moxley and his crew, and I need that in my life. But they surrounded Ricochet, and first of all, for everybody don't know, they met in a former place. Throw a couple of those letters upside down. But in the WWE, where they tried to get Ricochet, Ricochet didn't want to join, and they basically beat his ass, and that was pretty much the end of it. Which I was like, one, I wonder how long Cedric Cedric Alexander's contract up in WWE, because he's one, I feel like he's going to bounce. And we'll see if he joins him there. And I'll go to something else later. But Ricochet, I will say, I think should join up. I think do something different that you didn't do in WWE. Be something different that you wasn't in WWE. In WWE, you wasn't a heel. I was like, you being in Hurt Syndicate wouldn't make you're not a bad guy, but you would be a heel. Also, be in a position where it's like they already got the tough bastards that are like muscled down. You can be the guy that does all the flippy stuff and be a tough bastard in that way. Also, MVP is a really good spokesperson. You see who we got. Not that Bobby and Shell can't cut a promo, but guess what? It makes that whole hell of a lot easier when you got a really great ass guy that cuts a promo that you can sound a lot more effective when somebody already had a point they gotta make. So I think it will work out from all them angles other than just him being this guy that take bumps, do the flippy stuff. Cause I'm like, right now, I was like, he's gonna put on good matches, but I was like, and while it wouldn't have been the same kind of match that necessarily in WWE, he's doing the same thing. So I was like, this would be a good look to me for him in this regard or whatever. It's like the same thing where it's like, hey, well, there might be something else without, I was like, without Claudio and all them. But with them, he looks like more of a badass. His stuff comes off a lot more. His moves and all the other stuff and the things that he do has a lot more meaning to it. But yeah, but segueing into that, transition. I was like, it was Pac and Claudio versus Orange and Darby Allin. And while I first seen this one, I didn't like the fact that they already was doing a tag team match. I don't know. For me, I was like, I still wanted them just to go around beating the shit out of people, hurting people, threatening people. I still want them to do that. And I was like, I know that can get old, but to me, it's not the same thing as like when there's an interference in the match. And I was like, even then with this and with what's going to happen later of the interference and also other matches, I was like, I do think that sometimes it plays well, and I think tonight it did, because I was like, as the match, I was like, okay, then I was like, they're not going to have them win. They're not going to have Darby and Orange win. I was like, but I can also see them beating Claudio and Pat. But I was like, do you want to do that now? Was that too early? And then basically it got messed up by Maria Shafir taking out the ref. Then I was like, John, Will you to coming in there, and then John basically trying to choke out Orange and stuff like that. And then basically them just beating them up for a good amount of time. And I was like, good. This is what I wanted. I wouldn't. To me, this is where I understand. I like the interferences. Is where it makes sense, even though it might happen a lot of time. But if my whole thing is that I'm wrecking shit, then I'm gonna keep on wrecking shit. And I was like, that's why I like this, is because it's like that. I was like, I'm not over here trying to be upholding to anything. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna just come out here and beat your ass. I don't care about the ref. I don't care about nothing. I'm gonna just keep doing it. To me, I was like, it's a different type of interference, and I like this interference at least right now. And I was like, in context, if you want to think of like that's a big story that's going on versus the WWE, the big story with the Bloodline when they had the interference, and then sometimes that will wane just because of how it happened, because it's like sneaky, but it's for the win. Whereas like this one was just like, nah, I don't care. I'm just wrecking shop. So I was like, I like that they pretty much didn't allow them to win or anything or whatever. And then that made the Conglomerate come out here to give them a hand, which led to their really good hardcore match with basically Jericho, the Learning Tree, and all of them or whatever. And it was like a fun hardcore match, pretty much. I was like, nothing special happened on. It wasn't nothing crazy. But I was like, but it was fun. It was enjoyed. I was like in the spot of breaking up the show and whatnot. I also got to talk about the Adam Cole and Malakai Black match. It's not nothing of their, their takeovers or nothing like that. It wasn't on that level or whatever. And I was like, they're still talking. They're still doing their thing. Put on a good match. It's still a good match between them. They got good chemistry and stuff. But Adam Cole gets the win. It just sort of sucks because I was like, as a fan of Malakai Black, he had the black mask on Adam Cole, and I was like, he kicked out of it, and I'm just like, man, that used to be a time that used to take out a mug, but not no more. I was like, Malakai Black, I'm like, man, this is a guy that should be in some program storyline doing something significant, and nope. Sad, even though if I understand the story that's coming out of it, and it was a good match, but yeah. That leads to the end with Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita, and Ricochet. Like, I need a partner. Out comes Hobbs, and he used to be in the Don Callis family, not anymore. So cool. He's also here to F some stuff up or whatever. I should have used that with John Mosley and wreck it with Hobbs. I was like, we'll edit it in our minds. Anyway, and I was like, they got the win. Hobbs is a beast once again, guy that I think they should be doing something big with. I also thought about maybe him in the Hurt Syndicate, but I feel like you already got two brawling, beefy people that might be too much. But if we do the thing where we expand it past what I thought of as the Hurt business, then yeah, go ahead and put them in there or whatever. And plus, AEW got so many belts that it don't matter. That's like, cool, we can have all the belts and nobody's in each other's way at the same time. I was like, yeah. I was like, and Hobbs already had the FTW championship. But it was a good match. I was like, since Fletcher and Takeshita are big guys, they're sort of being able to go with Hobbs. But Hobbs like, nah, I'm checking you, son. And Ricochet just holding his own, being the body pan and stuff like that. I was like, speaking of body pan, I didn't even say earlier that reminded me that Darby had that crazy spot where he got thrown into the turn. I was like, the pole on the outside. That was crazy. But Ricochet new move of the spirit gun. I was like, while I loved Yu Yu Hakusho, and I was like, if that's where he got it from, the move is okay. It's not that bad. I like it, but it's not too bad. I was like, but I do understand that he has to have more of a grounded move. Like, you got to have another move than just doing something high flying, to be honest. But I was like, they were using them right with the last ride and all these other power bombs that they were doing for him and stuff like that. But no, I was like, it was a fun match. It's gonna be to see where pretty much I mean, well, obviously with Will Osprey and stuff coming out soon, I was like, they're gonna have those four versus Archer and Brian Cage and Takeshita and Fletcher. So I'm pretty sure that's probably gonna be a multi-man match next week or something like that. That's coming up. I was like, gotta be honest, outside of Ricochet, to me, really, I was like, he got a little bit of beef with the Don Callis, but everybody else to me actually got some significance to make this actually a story. I just don't know what kind of story you get out of this, to be honest. Just because I'm like, Kyle Fletcher trying to be his own thing. You still got Takeshita, and I was like, Cage and Archer are trying to be this tag team. And I'm like, man, I was like, somebody got to lose, but I was like, who can really? I was like, the win's going to go to Osprey because he's the one with the screwdriver. But at the same time, should they not get it to be like? Because after a while, people just keep kind of leaving. Just saying. I was like, at some point, you got to figure out what Con Callis be like. All right, shoot, got my face. But anyway, need more Hurt business. I was like, I thought it was a good idea how to use Mosley and his crew or whatever. Because I was like, they don't need to be on. They done been on TV a while that they could just come in and just do stuff like that, and that's fine. But anyway. All right, that's it for AEW. We'll workshop it. Anyway, until then, peace. I'm out.